अस्सलाम वालेकुम व्यूअर्स, NLPMANTRA.com की तरफ से मोहम्मद अली एक मरतबा फिर आपके सामने हाजिर खिदमत है. And viewers from NLPMANTRA.com, Muhammad Ali is with you for this very special program that we have started on porn recovery, 10 steps to porn recovery. And as we said in the first episode, we'll be covering steps one by one rather than rushing in one episode. So last episode we discussed uh, the importance and the need of an accountability partner, which is the most important aspect in the whole stage of recovery. And this week, inshallah, we'll be talking about the second step, which is of equal importance, if not more. So, with me, let's welcome Sheikh Ustad Wael Ibrahim. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How are you?
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm excellent, alhamdulillah, other than the thing in my face that has come
Yeah,
recently, but all good, alhamdulillah. It
but
is
there's one more
called,
thing.
yeah. Every week I always like to be updated, you know.
Yeah.
I
No, there's one
upgrade.
more thing update. There's an upgradation at your back. I see a lot of awareness.
My books, alhamdulillah, the book is already published and in print and also on PDF. And I hope and I pray many brothers from Pakistan, many sisters from Pakistan, they wanted to purchase it online and they have issues regarding PayPal and whatnot because the links are directly to PayPal. So subhanallah, I don't know really what to do. If there are any people can take over from Pakistan and actually publish the book over there and print it over there, that will be much easier. So inshallah, we'll work on that.
Inshallah, Sheikh, we will definitely work on that. And there is, as we discussed last time, there might be an option of direct payment through your publisher if there is anything. But if not, then we'll find a way, inshallah. There's where there's
Bi'idhnillahi
a
ta'ala.
will, there is a way. Yes, that's right.
Inshallah,
So,
inshallah.
so Sheikh, let's jump straight into the topic because we know that this is a long discussion, and
Yes.
we have only covered one point till now.
Subhanallah,
So,
yes.
what
Bismillah,
would be
alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Thank you, brother Muhammad. May Allah bless you, Ya Rab, for this initiative and for the program and for the professionalism associated with actually the live broadcast. Is an amazing thing to see. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. For anyone who's listening and watching, may Allah bless you and thank you so much for dedicating some time for this blessed gathering. Amin Ya Rab. Yes, last time we discussed only one point that can help those who are struggling with porn consumption, with porn use, on to help them overcome their addiction. And you mentioned something that I wanted to comment on. You said the most important aspect was accountability partner, and then when you said about today's discussion, you said equally important. In fact, anything that we're going to discuss inshallah in our show, it's going to be essential for everyone with porn addiction. It's
absolutely,
like it's non-negotiable. Like
absolutely.
if you're really serious about recovery and getting rid of this miserable life, every tip that we're going to suggest inshallah in our discussion, in our weekly or fortnightly or inshallah
Whenever
yani
possible.
recurring events, it's going to be very essential for you. And what I want the viewers to do inshallah from now on, number one, I want you, brother Muhammad, if you can post the link to the previous
Yes,
episode
sir. I will do that right
so
away.
those who didn't inshallah can also view it later, and do something called habit stacking. You can start inshallah building up your bank of recovery tips. You see, the first book that I had, Beat It 50 plus shades of hope. In fact, the initial title was, or the subtitle was 100 shades of hope. That was the initial title, and then the publisher suggested that we can actually use the word 50 uh, in reference to the stupid other 50 shades of stupid, just from marketing perspective. But
Yes,
actually, within the book, about over 100 tips about how to overcome pornography in that book alone. And then in this other book, Aware, we have more, alhamdulillah, we have more tips. In Change, the little booklet, it has 30 days of tips on how to overcome pornography. And not every tip will work with every single individual, because their background, their history of how they got addicted is different from one another. So what you can do as a viewer who is having an issue, or as someone who is concerned about his loved ones, or if you are a counselor or a coach with Aware Academy or with other institutions, build your bank of recovery tips so that you can either use them for yourself or suggest them for others, inshallah. So far, subhanallah, we discussed only one tip, and that is you must tell somebody other than yourself. You have to
Absolutely.
submit, you have to surrender, and you have to acknowledge that you have no power over pornography addiction. This is something very important. I know that some people don't agree with that, but it is a must based on 12 years of experience. I finally reached to that conclusion about 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was saying, like, you know what? There is no way a person would ever overcome pornography on his own, pornography addiction on his own. You must tell somebody. Today, we will talk about something else, which is, as Brother Muhammad mentioned, equally important, equally essential. And that is building an environment that is conducive to sobriety and impossible. When you are within that environment, it is nearly impossible for you to fall back into your cycle.
Absolutely.
I want to pause on
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just going to post the, as Sheikh mentioned, I'm going to post the link
Yes.
for the previous video that we did. And in fact, if you go to my YouTube, which is youtube.com/minute mantra, that also I'm going to mention here, you can see
Please.
there's a full playlist of pornography addiction recovery, pornography addiction recovery. It's a complete playlist that is mentioned there on my YouTube, which I am going to share with you the link of my YouTube as well. So if you go to that
Jazakallah.
playlist, you will find around 12 videos right now, and they are building on each other. They are in Urdu and in English, so the Urdu speaking
MashaAllah.
audience can take benefit of that. And this is the link for the previous one, and this is the link for my YouTube.
Beautiful,
So,
MashaAllah.
yeah, so Sheikh, going back to the point that you mentioned, because of course that's why I phrased it like this, that if this one is not more important, then at least equally important, because each and every step, as you said, is definitely non-negotiable.
Yes.
And when we do a slack, and by the way, Sheikh, I want to mention a small story here before you
Please.
talk about the second point. And this story stems from our first episode. The first episode that me and you did together, there was a brother. He contacted me after watching that episode, and I think it's what, about a month ago, not even more than that. And mashallah, I want to salute that brother. He is going to be part of our team very soon after his
MashaAllah.
recovery. He has amazed me to a level that anything and everything we have said or I have told him to follow, he has gone 2 steps ahead, and he has actually, for example, I sent him a WhatsApp message last week that, okay, I have time now, can you come online for a session? And I waited and waited and waited, and I didn't get a reply for 2 hours. So I called
Oh,
him. I said, Habibi, I am now free. I want to give you time for a session. He said, Sir, you told me I need to restrict my screen time. So this is
Allah.
the time, is my restricted screen time. Even if something, the sky is going to fall, I'm not going to look at the screen. So this is
MashaAllah.
the
Tabarakallah.
commitment.
Wait, brother, because I'm trying to fix my environment. Just give me a second.
Yeah, sure. So this is the kind of commitment, viewers, that is actually needed for you to get rid of, because this is the same commitment, or even probably more than this, was the commitment when somebody who entered this world is actually watching it with the same conviction again and again. So if you can watch it with that conviction, a little bit of commitment can actually take you out.
Jazakallah khair. I wanted, number one, if that brother is with us in the room today, may Allah bless you, may Allah protect you and purify you and cleanse you and
Um,
be on your side, inshallah, in your fight against your addiction. It's tough, it's not easy, but all it takes is a courageous person like yourself to make a difference, and you're going to make a difference in your life as an individual. You're going to benefit yourself first before anyone else. You're going to improve your life. You're going to improve your mental clarity. You're going to improve your faith, your iman, your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then that will reflect and project on everything around you. So alhamdulillah that you have
Yes.
taken that step.
Absolutely.
I want to make an example of how important those tips are, and I don't want anyone to mistake me for my intention. I'm just giving you an example from the life of the Prophet ﷺ to just show you how important the tips that I'm going to share are, in reference to your recovery are.
Yeah.
The Prophet ﷺ, when he went to Medina, when the people of Medina were planning to support him, they had that secretive meeting so that the people of Quraysh in Mecca don't, hear about it and don't attack them and don't disturb the meeting. And the people of Medina, they told the Prophet ﷺ that we're gonna make the declaration of faith. We're gonna say La ilaha illallah. Is this what you want? Is this what you're calling us for? We're gonna testify. We're gonna say La ilaha illallah. We're gonna testify that you are the messenger of Allah. We're gonna say Muhammad Rasulullah. We're gonna pray 5 times a day as you told us. We're gonna go to Hajj every year if we're able to. We're gonna fast during Ramadan, but we cannot pay zakah. That pillar, we are not going to abide by. Now, I remember when I was studying this particular story, I remembered when my days in Hong Kong City, when we used to do da'wah to people in the Philippines, from the Philippines, the domestic helpers and people who come to Hong Kong to work as domestic helpers. So we used to go down the streets and talk to them and invite them to Islam. And many of them would say, okay, I want to take Shahada, but no Salah. I cannot pray. I cannot fast. I cannot do anything, just the Shahada. And I remember me as a young da'i, someone, very excited about listening to somebody coming to Islam, coming from the Middle East, never seen this before. I was so excited. I was like, yeah, no problem. Just say the Shahada. And everything else after that will be easy. Everything will be all right. Don't worry. Because that was my understanding. The Shahada is the gateway to Islam. You will enter into Islam, and after that, slowly, you learn about Salah, about this and that. In a way, it's good. But if you minimize the pillars, the foundations, the house may collapse quickly. And that's what we have seen later on. We gain experience, we gain knowledge, we talk to mentors, we talk to mashayikh, and they taught us that no compromisation in the thawabit, in the foundations. You cannot compromise with the foundations. You cannot say to an engineer who was putting the foundation of a house, because I want to save some cost, no need that pillar, and remove that pillar. I don't want that one pillar. No, you cannot. That entire house will collapse and millions of people will die because of you. The Prophet ﷺ, he was in a state of weakness at that time. He have only a handful of followers. And the people of Medina, if they supported him, he will gain thousands overnight. He could have said, no problem, 4 pillars for now. Later on, when Iman comes into their hearts and all that, then inshallah they will follow the 5th pillar, zakah. But the Prophet ﷺ knew that if I compromise with one of the pillars of Islam now, everything else will be minimized, marginalized. So he said, no. The one who make a difference between zakah and salah is not a Muslim. The one who make a distinction between salah and zakah is not a Muslim. I'm in no use of such a person.
Absolutely.
This is just to show, this is just an introduction to what I'm trying to say about the tips and tricks that all the experts have prepared for you and have gone through to help you. That any suggestion, if you compromise in it, if you say, no, I don't want this one, but I want that, then there is no way for you, to recover from this. It's not going to be easy. It's not gonna be easy. Yeah.
Absolutely, Sheikh. And Sheikh, I just want to let the audience know, viewers, we will be taking all your questions. So whoever is sending the questions, don't worry, we will be taking them. But I would actually request you to hold on your questions till Sheikh come and we discuss completely the second tip, and maybe you'll have more questions, or maybe some of your questions will already be answered within that.
Inshallah.
So please
Inshallah.
bear with us, and inshallah we'll take your questions. So Sheikh, let's move to the second tip of recovery.
That's the second one. The second one is building an environment that is conducive to sobriety. Whenever you are within that environment, you are safe. You are safe from falling into relapses. You are absolutely safe, protected, completely protected. So the environment can be, for example, your room. When you enter your room, what do you recall? What do you remember? Do you remember immediately to view pornography because you're alone now, the door is shut, and you are seeing your laptop on the bed, or your laptop on the desk, or your cell phone is with you in the pocket, and immediately as soon as you get into Facebook, YouTube, or whatever else you're doing on the internet, this brings flashbacks to your daily or weekly activities, and as a result you remember pornography, and the chances for you to fall is great. You can read the signs. I mean, I'm not with you, my brothers, my sisters, I'm not living with you. You know yourself. So if that environment is encouraging to relapses, you'll have to change it. Period. You will have to change that environment. How? Number one, for example, an environment for you where your laptop and internet device is with you behind closed doors is not an environment. It's not conducive to sobriety. It's encouraging to relapses. So never enter into any room by yourself with an internet device. That's a policy that you should make for yourself. That's part of the environment. That's one of the environment, just to give you a thought. A brother or a sister, a friend who you call friend, who always remind you of teasing girls in university campus. Or there are some people, my brothers, I want to just to pose here. I was like, with a brother who's also struggling with this, and he told me, brother, we go to the Islamic centers for ladies, for girls. Their intention, they are young people, 18, 19. 18 and 19. They
Very
love
common
going every
reasons.
Sunday to the Islamic center, not to listen to the sheikh, not to attend they will attend, they will be seated there, but their intention is they are going to hang out with the sisters there. And as a result, the environment even within that center became polluted. So that and in the night they are on their screens fantasizing about the girls that they have seen in the day. That environment, even within an Islamic center, that environment is not encouraging you to do what is right. It is encouraging you to relapse. Don't go there, even to that Islamic center. Change it, or make a policy with your brothers. When you go there, you're only with your brothers. In the brother side, I will never go to the sister section, or we will never hang out after, or whatever the reason may be. But the point is, I hope you got what I mean. Environment could also be extended to places you visit, the shopping center. Ask yourself why you're going there. I wanted to recommend something very interesting, Brother Muhammad, before you also shed some light over what I said. There are two guys from America who wrote a book called The Minimalists, or Minimalism, something like that. I have seen they have a Netflix documentary made about them, where they actually were leading companies. They were earning a lot of money, mashallah. They have everything that any young man in their age could dream of. And subhanallah, they were not happy. They were depressed. And then they discovered this way they call minimalism, meaning look around you and see what do you need from the items and the things that you possess, and what is really is there for no reason whatsoever. They are just there because you love to possess, you love to have.
Yes.
And when they realize this, they start giving up all the things that they have, which they didn't use for years, or they just have it because everybody else have it, but they don't use it or they don't need it. And as a result, they became, according to them, the happiest people on earth. That became their environment. That became their environment, which is conducive to happiness. It encouraged them to become healthy. You know, it become they became actually subhanallah, it's very Islamic, like, to live within your means should
Yes.
become our environment, subhanallah. Your turn, brother. I talk too much.
Yeah,
The
Jazakallah khair,
medicine
brother,
makes me talk too
Jazakallah
much.
khair. And, absolutely, brother. In fact, just to add on the environment thing, one of the things that I have now, I mean, I'm sure Sheikh has encountered more of such events, but one of the things which I have found out, and one of my clients, in fact, not one, a few of my clients have actually, proved that this is true. In when it comes to environment, is that only by changing their bed direction sometimes, literally by changing the direction of their beds, literally by changing the mattresses. And one of my clients, I remember, this was 2 months back. What he said was that his posture in the sitting, the posture, the way he used to sit on the chair, he just changed that posture, because he said whenever I would sit with my legs open, I would have the urge. So I started to close my legs. Now this is, apparently it seems very weird reason, but that has worked for him, because one of the things we teach in NLP is that you change your state and you can change your thinking process. So when I started working with him, I realized that a lot of things that he is doing are okay, but what was missing element? So I actually advised him to change the way he's sitting. If he sits like this, he should sit on the other way, and while doing that, he figured it out. He said, if I put my legs close, I'm fine. But if I open my legs, immediately my brain starts moving towards some other kind of an environment. So yes, this is what Sheikh has mentioned. Environment is very, very important. Our friends, our parents, for example, this brother I'm talking to you about, he has done something, and what he has done is that he does not stay alone till he sleeps now. So he makes sure he sits with the family. Very simple. Before he used to sit alone.
Yeah, I have a client who said alone no more. That's his slogan. And actually, he recovered a long time ago, mashallah. And this brother took that slogan, and he in the company, he established a company. He have employees now, mashallah. He leads a big team, and he, as the boss, like the leader, he sits with his employees. Like I visited his company, and subhanallah, he sits in the middle of a big open space, an office, and everybody else around him, the team members around him, and he never had a single office for himself. And there is a meeting room, of course, when clients come and all that, and that room is separated by glass doors and windows, so everyone outside can actually see what is happening inside. And when I visited this company, on every desk of every employee, it has that slogan: alone no more, alone no more, we live in community. So this is one of the tips that impacted that brother more than any other tips. All other tips, as we mentioned, are essential, but that one for that brother stood out, and it was the cornerstone of his recovery. It was the most important element for him, is to never be alone. So he decided that at home. He said, at home, me and my wife, we go to bed together. Like, let's go. No, I'm still washing the dish, for example. Okay, I'm gonna wait for you. That's his rule. He painted that slogan. It's in his home, everywhere. He said, I never had a minute by myself, other than when I go to the shower or go to toilets, or those things that we usually do by ourselves. Other than that, he had decided never to give himself a chance to sit by himself, because he knew, once I'm alone, I slip. He said, that's my weakness. And that became his environment. He lives in an environment that has people. He's social. Another thing about environment also for people to realize. Have you guys remember back anytime? Sometimes you smell something, and it brings you back years to the past, where you were a little boy, perhaps, or a little girl going to school. This happens to me a lot in the early hours of the day. After Fajr, I smell that breeze that brings a lot of memories, and I feel like, and sometimes you smell a type of food that reminds you immediately of long time ago when your mom used to cook that food that you miss, for example, something that you miss so much. So environment could extend to even fragrances, to particular smell. Now let me show you something. I don't know if I show you this. Did I show you the candle last time, brother Muhammad?
No, 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 no.
So let me show them now. So can you see now this candle?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So this candle, I don't know if you can see it properly because the light is too bright. But
Yeah.
this candle, uh, I just lighted up before the show, but it's a bit liquidy. If you can see the oil, can you see the oil?
Yes, I can now. Yes.
You
On the
can?
left side. Yes.
Yeah, so it melt, and if you are with me now, guys, the smell is salted caramel to the best. Like, I have it, in my office, I have it in my house inside, I have it in my classroom at school when I teach, and I have it on all the time. And when I have it, sometimes, my students will pass by and say, "Brother, do you have pancake? Are you baking?" It smells like food. And now the reason why I'm attached to this particular fragrance is that some times ago I was attending a conference where actually the fragrance was amazing, like the salted caramel fragrance was amazing, and the whole conference was about self improvement and growth. How can an individual always continuously grow and build up his skills, always, and that is ihsan. That's yani an Islamic concept, is to always do things perfectly and always improve in what you do. And I associate growth with that fragrance, or I associate that smell with growth. So whenever I enter the room and I smell that fragrance, I'm in the mood of reading. I'm in the mood of studying. I'm in the mood of doing something to benefit me and to upskill my one of my knowledge, and so on and so forth. So that could be an environment for you. When I gave that tip, or when I shared that story with one of my clients, he came a few days later and he said, subhanallah, that he realized that in the past couple of days he's been eating mandarin, the small
Yeah.
little mandarin.
Yeah.
And subhanallah, he said that smell reminds him of quitting pornography. And I gave him, like, we have the program, we give him, like, we give homework and sheets and all that to fill up. And he brought a list of things to do that can help him stay sober. And he said eating mandarin every day and smelling that fragrance that comes out of the skin. So subhanallah, this you could create the way you want. As soon as you enter that environment, you smell something amazing, can bring to you that motivation. So you can build that. I mean, why am I? Some people, they, like you say, brother, you're too much, brother. Wallahi, it works with me. I actually travel with it sometimes.
And
I
brother,
carry this candle sometimes with me.
sorry to interrupt you here. I
Sure.
will tell you something why it works with you. Basically, what happens is in NLP, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with 5 senses. And in NLP, we say that the 3 senses, which are very, very important to recall an experience, to relive an experience, and to change an experience, are visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So, and then the rest, smelling, and of course, the taste. Now, if at least 3 senses are involved in any experience, you can always either remember it or you can alter it at your will when you want, and that's what we do practice. So by with that smell brings you a good memory, it will be your strength. So we'll talk about your strength. If that smell gives you a bad memory, we will remove that smell with something else. If some sound gives you a good memory, you increase that sound. If some sound gives you a bad memory, you replace that sound. If some visual gives you a bad memory, we replace that visual with a good visual. So this is very very natural. That is for some
Absolutely, yeah.
smell works, for some taste works, for some seeing works. So yes, viewers, as Sheikh
And
said,
as
this
we
is very.
mentioned, I'm just giving tips here. I'm not telling you now to go and buy candles and burn your
Yeah,
house. I'm not saying go and burn incense and go like What I mean is that you create your own environment. So long as that environment is so protective. Part of the environment, for example, I will never use any cell phone without a protected blocker.
software, yes.
Protective. That's an environment. I will never use from now on. That's the promise. I will get a blocker. I will get a filter. I will get a software. I will pay for it. Yeah, because those people think everything
Very
is
important.
free. No, there are free. I'm gonna actually, before I forget, I wanna list to you 10 uh, 10 blockers that are very useful. So shall I send them in the chat box
Yes,
here in
yes, please. You can send it to me in the private chat, and I'll copy them here. No issues. And
so
after
it
this one,
seems
I think we'll take a few questions before we
so
move
the
to the
chat
next.
box here does not allow the whole
No, you can send me in the private chat.
it's limited, brother, to a particular, or shall I send to you on WhatsApp and you share it with
Okay,
others,
send me on
if you don't
WhatsApp,
mind?
and I will share it on my YouTube later on, as well
Yeah,
as
I don't know how you will share it, but this has been published by one of the Islamic centers. I don't recall, but it's not my yani, this is not my compilation. It was done by an Islamic website. I'm not sure. I forgot the name completely now. But anyway, it's very useful. 10 blockers that I recommend to everyone. Pick and choose, man. As you
yeah.
can see, the resources are plenty, but are you willing to take that sacrifice, to make the sacrifice? Are you
And out
willing
of
to live within this environment?
yeah,
That
out of these,
and
please.
sorry, brother. And
No, no,
those who get the blockers, those who are serious, don't even know the password.
absolutely.
Like they upload the what do you call it? They enroll or they download that software, and sometimes it is a requirement from certain providers that you have a password to uninstall it, to remove it from the devices. So that password, you should even ignore it. Yani you should close your eyes and put the password, something like that. So long as you do not have a chance to watch porn, do what it takes. That's an environment. This is part of your environment. Part of your environment, as we mentioned, could be friends themselves. Part of the environment also items that you see. Yani, there was a client who always relapse when he sees satin fabric,
I know this is
because that
very common
fabric,
now.
he had a short of made of that fabric, and he used to masturbate with that fabric. So every time he see it, he masturbate. Every time he see it, he remembers. So he gave it up. He threw the short. Then he became better, because the item that reminds him of his activity become non-existent, until he saw that same short with his dad. He relapsed. You see, so it's difficult. We're not saying that yani, it's gonna be easy, but building an environment, and by the way, the environment that you create for yourself, remember this, it has to be also applicable to anyone who comes within that environment. So anyone with you in that environment is also protected. So for
Absolutely.
example, in my home, I have that family zone that I recommended before. Family zone, we have that network, the provider called Family Zone. They block all this nonsense. Sometimes even we cannot even get to Google sometimes using that network. But anyway, I have it for my family's protection, for my children in particular. When guests come to my home, they use that network. I don't give any other network. I don't give my hotspot. I don't give the other modem that we use for our work and so on. But anyone in my environment, I don't want to give any chance to anyone to fall into any trap. So your environment has to be, and you have to take that environment anywhere you go. Like if for example, part of your environment is not to go to weddings, and you know what happens in weddings. You know what happens, Pakistan.
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely, and
I was in a conference. I was in a conference. I don't want to mention the hotel in Karachi, but I was in a conference, Islamic conference, and we finished. And then they told us to go down to meet someone who donated or something like that. And we went to visit that brother, and that brother was in a hall that we were standing giving a lecture about Islam. But that hall now is a wedding hall. So we didn't know that when we finished and we went to our rooms, we came back down, the whole changed upside down. Things became different now, and musicians are there and dancing starts, and Allahu Akbar. When we entered, I said, no, I'm not gonna step another step. I'm in my room. Brother, but the sheikh is inside, wanna see the man. No, this is not my environment. Even if this guy donated millions of dollars, if you want to see me, I'm in my room, in my environment, with my candle, having a romantic date with my candle. You know. So
brother,
the point is, with the environment, you have to have a structure, a system, like a rule, a policy. This is my policy. I can't go with you to the cinema. That's not my environment. You understand what
and
I mean, my brother? If you're
yes,
really serious, if
if
you're
you
really serious,
absolutely. Yeah, and brother, I would like to add here a few things before I go and take a few questions now.
please.
The list, viewers, I have not been able to copy the list right now because it is really extensive. So I will appreciate. I've shared my WhatsApp number. You can WhatsApp me, and I will share the list with you one to one,
Beautiful,
as I have
beautiful.
done with the previous brothers who shared last time. Second thing is, Sheikh, I've used now Q Studio. I'm using for me personally at home, and I have also experienced Covenant Eyes. Q Studio had some inherent issues. In general, it is a good software. Covenant Eyes has, by the way, viewers, this is not only for this Q Studio or Covenant Eyes. Any software will have this issue. Is that one of my clients? He's using Covenant Eyes. He's in US, and he said that I can bypass anything by very easily. And he called Covenant Eyes. He did everything he could. I thought, I don't know what is going wrong. How can you do that? Then we realized that he is the admin.
Uh,
So if he is the admin, he will for sure bypass everything.
I am coaching, brother. Thank you for. I'm coaching an IT genius.
Yeah,
I have a client who's IT genius, and he always tell me the same thing. Like, I have a problem with softwares and blockers, and there is also something regarding the internet provider. Like, you can, if you want to go even higher, you can reach out to your provider, the internet provider at home, and actually they can do something. I don't know. I'm not the tech guy, but they can do something in the network that can help you as well. But so long as you are in control, of all the passwords, and of course at any time you can bypass them, because once the dopamine surge escalates in your brain, you are no longer who you are. You are a different
absolutely.
person. You are
Ab-
that zombie. That zombie. You look like you, but it's not you. You're not in control of your action. So you can't be in control. That's why we said the first step is pick someone to be in control other than yourself, an accountability partner, and then bring that environment into place. Bring those softwares. Now you cannot be in control. Who can be in control? Your accountability partner, your wife, your husband, for example, your best friend, the man or the woman who's ready to really stand by your side and offer some support and help. You see, in fact, I have a client who don't have only one accountability partner. He have eight, and those
wow,
eight they became now, mashallah. I meet them once every now and then, and they themselves they meet every week over Zoom. They meet each other over Zoom, and they support each other, and they check on each other, and they encourage one another. Because let us face it, we need those encouragements and boost from time to time to stay on track. Even myself, even Mufti Mink, even any great man that you think that we are, righteous and all that, we need somebody to shake us and advise us. When I suffered from that slip disc, I was losing my mind. I was losing my mind. All the lectures I give on patience, all the lectures I give on contentment, all the lectures I give on this and that and Jannah, I lost them. I lost sight, because the pain was the main thing that I can see and face and feel. And there was a little tiny creature next to me reminding me of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my wife. She was looking me in the eyes, holding me, and I'm almost going to fall over her and crash her with my body, because I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk. So she was holding me and looking to me in the eyes. Walk, just walk, just walk. Look at me, look at me. When I tear up, when I cry because of the pain. So you say, wake up and walk. Allah is with you, and so on. So every person, every individual need that push, need that support. So how will you get that support when you are, when you relapse now, for example, and you're crying with yourself? Who's going to support you? Yes, Allah is there, but you can't even pray to Allah now. You're guilty, the guilt, the shame, the shyness. Where is the repentance? I'm gonna take a shower. You're crying. Your condition is trash. Let us face it. You need someone.
Absolutely.
In that moment, you need someone.
Sheikh, let's take a few questions if you allow me
Please.
now. There's one question from brother in Shah. He says, got your new book Aware and the book 50 plus Shades of Hope. Can you please give me some advice on how to use these books to get rid of my addiction completely for life?
Oh, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Look, brother. Again, we will have to. Those books are aids. They are not the ultimate solution. Remember this. What will really bring light into the recovery programs is that you walk with someone, that you create that support system that we said about, earlier, accountability partner, someone to check on you weekly, some exercises and so on, until you really know how you until you know what your way of life look like when you wake up in the morning, what you're going to do, when you get off your bed, what you're going to do, when you finish your toilets and bathroom and shower, and what you're going to do, like when your day is scheduled, when your priorities are scheduled, then we can tell you, congratulations, brother, stick to that. But I don't know your life. I don't know, where do you go, what do you do? So those books have only tips that can help you, absolutely can help you. But without a structure, without a system for your life entirely, again, those tips cannot really do magic. I hope you understand, my brother. So with these tips, inshallah, what I can suggest is try 3 tips at the time, 3 suggestions in the books at the time. Don't bombard yourself with 100 tips all at once. Pick 2 or 3 and try them and see if they work with you. Alhamdulillah, stick to them, and then make that, as we mentioned, the habit stacking, add another 1 or 2, and then move on, and so on. But I suggest bring 1 on board with you, bring 2, bring 3. Every friend of yours, perhaps he's also suffering from this.
Yes. And by
Every
the way,
individual next door maybe having the same problem. So perhaps reach out to someone that's close to you. Tell him, man, I've been struggling with pornography. Have you been struggling with pornography as well? And just look at the reaction. Look at the reaction of the man. You say, oh, pornography, stuff. And then, depends on how close you are to the person, they will talk. Believe me. And once you find out someone else who need help, then help each other, man. Help each other. And that will create more awareness.
Brother, this is a very, very important point. This is a very, very important point, and this is what I have been requesting in all my talks to everybody. Let us be the support for each other. Let us make the environment conducive for people to come and talk to us. Rather than judging them or ridiculing them, let's be listening to them.
And this is something, as we mentioned earlier, Brother Muhammad, Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu, he said that the two people are strong together and farther from shaitan, but the one will be broken by shaitan. Absolutely. The individual, once you are alone, you will be broken easily by shaitan, especially if you have that compulsion to imagery as strong as pornography. So use the books, alhamdulillah, that you purchase them. They have great great tips and tricks that can really support and help those who are addicted. But again, if you fight that battle by yourself alone, it's not going to be a winning battle.
I think the rest are more of comments rather than questions, but I will just take them. Brother Tawqeed Shirazi says that never use your eyes to cry for the one who fooled you. Instead, use it to search for the right one. So that's a comment from him. And then there's a comment on me that you have meant your talk is in English, and your thumbnails have Urdu. So why is it? So I'm sorry. I can only apologize. That's all what I can do right
because,
now.
because he's talking to me, man. He's talking to me. He must talk in English now. How can he talk to me in Urdu, yeah? That's why.
Exactly. I actually
Can
love
I
these
please
kind of
ask a
comments.
question? Yes, brother Muhammad Inshaf, please talk. Please
Yeah,
ask the question. That's why
I'm
we
waiting.
open the floor to question and answer now.
I'm waiting for him if he has another question. Brother Inshaf, if you have another question, please feel free. Rana Muhammad Ahmed is saying Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam, Rana. Muhammad
Wa
Ahmed.
alaikum
Okay.
salam wa rahmatullah.
So till he, because there's a lag going on, till he posts a question, Sheikh, would you think that, do you think that should we go for the third tip or it will take a longer time, or shall we just
No,
close it
no, no,
now,
brother. It's going
for
to
this
take a
one,
long
right?
time. And now we're already
Yeah,
45 minutes almost.
exactly. That's why
No,
I'm saying
one tip at the time and then question
100%.
answer. That would be more rich, you know,
Absolutely.
because I don't
So
want to rush. Well, I can list down 20 tips now. We have the book, hundreds of them. But to go down deeper into each tip, to give ideas to other people from different backgrounds to actually start thinking and planning about their. And I will give you a tip also on how to create an environment. Sit down together today. Sit down today alone by yourself if you are struggling with pornography, and decide how you want your environment to look like. Places you frequently visit, people you frequently meet, items you frequently use. Those three things. Places you frequently go to, are they conducive to sobriety, purity, iman, or are they encouraging to filth, relapses? Like in the university, you sit down together with each other, mingling with the opposite gender without any, boundaries and all that. Is that one of the things why you go back home and masturbate? Is that one of the reasons? Okay, so this environment need to change. So sit down and write down what are the places that are conducive to sobriety, and what are the places that actually encouraging to relapses and filthy lifestyle, and decide now what do you want to do, and then move on to the second aspect of it. People. Are the people that you mingle with, are they serious about Islam? Are they encouraging you to remember Allah, to go to the masjid, or are they always about music, about girls, about this and that? Then filter them without even excuse, without even ceremony. And the third, the items. Is it your cell phone? Is it the problem? Softwares. Is it your laptop, your device, any device? Items. Is it your tight pants? Is it like the brother said, is it your room, decoration? Shift the items around. Change your environment. Even little bit of changes can create tremendous result. So, and I would advise you, of course, to read about how to improve your habit formation. How can you create a habit, healthy habits? Read The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Read The Atomic Habit by James Clear. That two of the best books have been ever written in this area of habit formation.
and create new habits as well. That's another where you can make mini habits. There's one thing which is called mini habits. You can use that as well. Brother Dilshad is saying, I think if you want to take this one, I really have.
Yeah, yeah. So the brother say he relapsed mostly at 2 a.m. So I'm not sure why are you awake at the time. So if you keep yourself up until 12 past midnight watching YouTube videos and this and that until 2 a.m. and then you relapse, then you have to change your sleeping pattern. So sleep early now. Maximum after Isha, you start preparing for your bed, and then you sleep early. Then your brain will be disrupted. So instead of relapsing always at 2 a.m., now your brain will shut down at that time because you already introduced new habit to it, and that is sleeping early. In the beginning, it will be a bit difficult to create that habit, but soon, quickly, actually, your brain will adopt the new sleeping pattern. If you're struggling to sleep early, darken the room. That will be one of my advice, and that was my problem back in the days when I was in music. I used to sleep also, my sleeping pattern was upside down. My day was my night, my night was my day. When I started to make a change, I struggled a lot in the beginning, and then I was given the advice to darken the room, to to drink something warm before bed, and so on.
And there's one
Which
more
is the
tip that
best
I
book for
will.
me to start
Sorry.
reading for my recovery? Out of the two, I have Aware or 50. You start with the 50 Shades of Hope.
Yes.
Start with 50 Shades of Hope, and then go to Aware. Find out who you are without porn.
And one tip, brother, I'll like to give you all for sleeping, and that is I use when I do my silver technique, which is very easy. What you do is you close your eyes, you take one deep breath, inhale from your nose and exhale from your mouth. And while you are exhaling, let your body know that my physical body is relaxing. It will once you have done that, give yourself 5 to 10 seconds, take another deep breath, and this time let your body know that my body is mentally relaxing. I'm relaxing from my mind inside. And once you've done that, take another three deep breath. And by the way, for the after the second deep breath, the best thing would be go to the scenes, visualize those scenes that actually relax you. Maybe you know, with your mother, with your father, with your wife, with the children, scenes of people whom you really associate happiness and goodwill with them. So it'll bring those scenes in your mind, and your mind will start relaxing rather than wandering to different thoughts. And then take another third deep breath and tell yourself, I am going to deep sleep. By the way, by the time you will go to the third breath, I can assure you, you will be already sleeping. So very
And
small
of
tip.
course, I wanted to remind also everyone of the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, of reading, the necessary adhkar, the necessary Quran, and blowing to your mouth after and wipe out your body. Wallah, if you look, I would say that if you're really serious about creating a change and you're getting now, alhamdulillah, tips from the experts, then just follow it, and you will be much better, inshallah, and you will sleep. Yani, you're talking to someone who was in music industry for almost all his teenager years. When I was 13, 14, all the way to 28, 29, I was in music industry, and my sleeping pattern was a misery, was a disaster. And I was able now to sleep. Actually, I'm talking to you now, it's 9 p.m. here in Perth, and I'm almost, my eyes half closed already.
And
So
we are
because I
almost
already got used to sleeping early and waking up early. Khalas, it becomes my absolute pleasure to actually sleep early and get up early. So those who said that I relapse at 2 a.m., why are you awake at that time? Unless you are, having working, in hospitals, or having a night shift in some places. This is a different story, which can be also sorted out. But if you are at home, what are you doing? Why are you up at 2? Ask yourself that question and change your environment, change your habit.
this is the last comment with which I think we'll be closing it, and this is from Sister Kenise Fatma. She's saying that I'll say it in English for you, that if you really pray to Allah with the sincerity, He can convert any weakness of yours into strength. Just you need to be ready to do that change, and
Absolutely.
for that prayer, she says that indeed Salah is the best way, and which stops you from any fahish and what do you call this
Absolutely.
bad
إن
work.
الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran that Salah prevents us from committing fahsha, like, shameful activities such as zina, such as, major kaba'ir. But we have to understand also that Salah has to be performed properly, not just standing, bowing quickly to finish. Salah, it's a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you break that connection while you are, talking, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by means of thinking about something else. So you have to pray properly in order to achieve that result. Yeah, because if you pray and then you did the fawahish, then that means salah was not, it's not the fault of salah now. There is no error in salah. The problem is that you did not perform it properly. One more thing also, for addicts, salah on its own cannot really help remove the addiction. We have to be very clear about that. Salah is very important part, dua is very, very important part, but also acting and cleaning our environment is also important. The man who killed 99 person, we know the story, we heard it in so many khutbahs and so many lectures, that when he killed the 100th man, he went to the scholar and he told him what? He told him, leave town. This environment is not good for you. Leave this town, and then when you go there, you start a new life, clean, away from haram, away from these kind of hateful and disliked activities. And as a result, the man left. He was so sincere. So with all your sincerity on salah, also live within an environment that can help you to perform your salah.
Indeed, brother.
I
Indeed.
hope that this final note is the best, I think, to end with, that salah on its own, prayer on its own, Quran on its own will not help, so long as your environment is encouraging to that which is haram and abhorred. So clean your environment and do your salah properly, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bi'idhnillah will respond to your dua and your prayers. Ameen.
Inshallah. Inshallah, brother. Jazakallah khair. Sheikh Wael, as always, I know, mashallah, you always take out time for us, and I am not sure, viewers, when will be the next time we'll be having. It will be a week or 2 weeks. That it will depend
We'll
on Sheikh.
decide.
Yeah, because he's mashallah doing a lot of other things online. I think 25th is your big conference on pornography, right?
Inshallah, it's a whole day. It's a whole day. We will be the whole day online, from
Whole day
9 in the
online.
morning to 6 or 7 p.m. And there is a surprised speaker coming at the end that yani promised to be with us and address the issue from a spiritual perspective. So everyone who got the link, please jump in and don't be lazy and don't say it's very early, brother. We cannot sleep.
Inshallah.
It's an important.
Yes, it is very, very important. 25th of July. Please mark these dates for you. And with this prayer that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts whatever we have said, whatever we have discussed, for the sake of love for Allah and for the sake of love of our brothers and sisters. May Allah accept this. May Allah bless you and me and everybody who is hearing with the best of the Jannah from His gifts and His rewards. And may Allah bless us to be the ones who can have it directly from the hands of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the drink from Hawz Kausar at the time of Qiyamah. So you be my witness and I be your witness that we did this work for the sake of Allah, and may Allah accept it. Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair.
Habib.
And
Salam
inshallah,
everyone. Salam alaikum.
alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.